Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. How are y'all doing today? So here today on Abby the Witch, we are actually going to be practicing some divination, okay? Now in my last video, some of you had requested that you would love to see how I practice scrying in the water with some of my herbs. I also wanted to go ahead and do a tarot spread on myself. I've actually gotten in the past some comments wanting to see that as well. So I was just going to do a very classic 3-card spread today with my classic traditional tarot deck. Now this 3-card spread that I use is not just, past, present, or future. It's not just a general reading. It actually is, the first card is your current situation. The second card is certain tribulations or challenges you've been facing in that situation. And then the third card is advice from your spirit guides or from spirit, okay? So we're gonna do that today, and then I'm going to show you how I scry with water and herbs, okay? Let's go ahead and get started. Before I do my tarot reading, I do sometimes like to either knock to kind of wake up my deck, and I also sometimes put my hands over it to kind of put my energy into it. And as I shuffle my cards, this is when I really put the intention in, okay? And this is when I really put like what I want to be answered, what the spread is going to be over. I really make it clear what answers I want, okay? This is, again, when I really put my intention in. So here we go. It's gonna be kind of hard for me to shuffle under the camera, so I'm gonna pull back here for a second and do my shuffling. Take some mindful breaths. Okay. Now, some people have asked me in the past, how do you know when to stop shuffling? I always get a message to stop shuffling. I'm sure other tarot readers can relate to this in some shape or form. They either get a clairaudient message to stop, or they see with their third eye in their mind some kind of image that signifies to stop. You get a feeling that you need to stop shuffling. There's always some sense that's triggered that makes you know when you can stop shuffling. Now, after I shuffle, I always break up my deck. Just whatever feels natural. Okay. Okay, so again, this is, let me see if I can zoom in for you guys a little bit. Okay, that's better. Now, again, this is the card that represents your current situation. This is troubles or tribulations, challenges you've been facing in this current situation. And the last card is advice from your spirit guides, okay? So this actually makes a lot of sense to me. My first card is the Queen of Cups. So cups represents emotion. It represents your feelings, your intuition, right? I really, really associate cups with emotion. That's the biggest thing. Cups, the element that goes with cups is water, right? So the Queen of Cups is someone who is really in control of her emotions. She's someone that is very intuitive, right? She's the queen for a reason. I always kind of think of the king or queen in any suit as someone who has gone through a lot of whatever that suit represents, and they have become kind of a master at that theme, if you will. So the Queen of Cups is kind of someone who has control over her emotions, not so much that she doesn't allow them to flow freely throughout her, but she doesn't allow them to be her, right? She is able to manage her emotions. Now, the first thing that I got, right, because I don't just go with the definitions of the cards, I also go with my intuition and my gut when I do my tarot readings. I use both. So the first thing I got when I drew this card was, I am trying a little too hard to control my emotions, which totally makes sense right now. If you aren't aware, I'm currently pregnant. I'm about 9 weeks at this point, so pretty fresh, pretty new. I definitely have been grappling with some emotions lately. This is my first pregnancy, my first child. It's just a lot. It's a lot of emotion. It's a lot of excitement. It's a lot of fear. It's a lot of confusion with other emotions that I have. Like, am I supposed to be feeling these emotions? It's a lot of, I don't know. It's so many confusing emotions right now. And I've been trying so hard to just control them, right? And I think that's what this card is representing right now, is me not necessarily being a queen or a master of my emotions, but it's honestly just a symbolic card, meaning that right now I'm trying so hard to not only control, but suppress some of these emotions, just because they are so intense, right? It's also, the Queen of Cups is also, I really think of it as being compassionate, extremely empathetic, which I usually am. I identify as a sensitive or an empath, I guess. However, right now I've been so distracted with my own emotions in my current situation that it's been hard for me to relate to others. I've been feeling pretty lonely, to be honest. I'm so sorry, there's construction going on. There's really nothing I can do. Sorry guys, I really wanted to film today. And it happens every day, so there's really nothing I can do. I can't control it. Anyway, so I really think that this is also telling me that, so I really feel like this is telling me that I probably should reach back out to others, because I've been so into myself. Now, again, this is not advice. This is not the advice column of this spread, so I'm probably getting ahead of myself a little bit right now. But I think all it's doing is describing my current situation. It's reminding me that I am an empathetic person. I am a compassionate person, but I've been so wrapped up in my own emotions right now because they are so intense that, yeah, that's just my current situation right now. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so the next card, the next slot is troubles I've been having with this situation, okay? So we have nine of swords in reverse, okay? Swords has to do with ideas, intellect, and also it can tend to be heartbreak or downfall because of those ideas, or because of those exploitation of those ideas, if that makes sense. Basically, be careful, because your ideas can come back and bite you in the ass type of thing, is what I think of when I think of the Suit of Swords. Not always, not with all the cards, but it's definitely part of that theme, I feel. When I also think of the Nine of Swords, I think of fears and anxieties due to the past, right? Due to past traumas. Because this is in reverse, I really feel like this is representing the present. And that makes a lot of sense. I really feel like the struggles that I've been having right now are the anxiety and the fears that I'm having with this pregnancy, with not just my pregnancy, but I feel like my own intense emotions and my own intense thoughts going on right now that I'm trying to control so badly, that need to control is partly causing my anxiety, okay? So I really just need to let my emotions kind of flow a little bit more, try to relax, don't suppress my feelings, but just let them happen and let them be, right? I don't need to be so wrapped up in trying to not let these emotions happen, because I think that these emotions that are going through my mind right now and through my heart right now are very natural. And I think I need to remind myself that it's not forever, okay? And another reason that this is in reverse, I feel too, is usually Nine of Swords is telling you to not focus on the past. I think this is telling me to not focus so much on the future, okay? Or to realize that these anxieties and these fears of what is to be will not last forever, okay? Not saying having a child isn't gonna be hard. I know it's gonna be hard. Please don't comment down below. Ugh. But I do think that it's telling me that this is the struggle I've been having, that I'm just so wrapped up about fears and anxieties, wrapped up in the fear and anxiety that I've been feeling about the future. Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the last card, which the last card is Knight of Swords in reverse. And which totally makes sense. And this last card is advice from Spirit. Okay, so again, Swords is ideas, intellect, right? Knights, basically in really any of the suits, Knights represents basically impulsivity, okay? Going for it, gung-ho, no plan, right? Knight of Swords represents going for it, going for an idea, right? Maybe a business plan or something, or a business idea, not a plan, a business idea or some kind of idea, right? Without any plan, just going for it, okay? It's in reverse right now because I think it's telling me to not be in my head so much. Because I've been overthinking all of this so incredibly much. It's insane. I hesitate to say silly because I think it is natural for a lot of people to overthink things, especially big things like this that I'm going through. But don't be in my head so much. It is what it is. It's a beautiful, natural thing that's happening. I'm going into motherhood. And I think, being in my head about it and overthinking it and having anxiety about it and being scared about it isn't helping anything or anyone. It's not. I'm going to be able to do it, of course. This is basically just telling me to stop being in my head so much about it. Period. It's really just saying, stop being so quick, Knight. Stop being so quick to, well, this is going to happen, and then this is going to happen, and then it's going to be awful, and then it's going to be scary, and then whatever. I'm the kind of person that goes to worst case scenario. And I'm not sure how to not do that. I guess it's just practice and being metacognitive and paying attention to my thoughts and my thought patterns. So I think I'm going to try to do that more. I think I'm going to try to just be more attentive to my thought patterns and how they get me to these intense fears and anxieties, right? Or even extreme excitement. I'm just the kind of person that just I feel my emotions very, very strongly. Sometimes it's hard for me to be grounded. And especially with big deals like this. Everyday life, I've gotten a lot better about handling my emotions, of course, but I've really been challenged for the past couple of months since I found out I was pregnant, because it is just It's triggered a lot of anxiety. It's triggered a lot of mania with my excitement. And it's just intense. It's really, really fucking intense. And I don't know. I'm gonna have to, like I said, just try to be more metacognitive, pay attention to those thought patterns, and try to plan and manage my thought patterns better, right? Instead of just being so impulsive to just think the worst case scenario. So, good spread, totally makes sense. Let me know down below what you think of this spread and if you agree. Let's go ahead and move on to the water scrying. Okay guys, I am back, and what I have here for my water scrying is I have my witch's cauldron. Okay, whoop, shook the table a little bit, sorry. I have my cauldron, okay. I have a clean jar with some fresh water in it, okay. I would suggest probably you can cleanse out the jar with some smoke or some sound if you want to. I prefer, when I do any kind of divination, let's see, I usually have my black tourmaline out too. I get my black tourmaline out. I have my labradorite, because I believe that labradorite really is like a mystical, it connects you closer to spirit. So I leave my labradorite out for that. I have my sodalite out. I believe this is good for quieting the mind, to receive messages. And the herbs I'm going to be using today are, I have just a little bit of Gill Over the Hill left over. Let's open this so you can see it. This is dried and discolored at this point, but this is Gill Over the Hill, or ground ivy. I think that this is really good for developing different perspectives, gaining a new perspective on a certain situation, or just in life in general. So I'm going to use that to kind of help me get a new perspective on this situation that I'm in. And I'm also going to be using, this isn't obviously my own lavender, this is just store-bought lavender, but dried lavender, for how I can kind of relax a little bit more and not feel so, not feeling so much like I have to control my emotions or feel all this anxiety or fear. So I'm going to use lavender to try to receive messages on how I can do that as well. So I like to use herbs or plants that are related to the questions that I'm asking, right? How can I feel more relaxed and not feel like I have to control my emotions so much? How can I gain a new perspective on this situation that I'm in, right? How can I see it differently, okay? So, I always start by pouring the fresh water into my cauldron. Now, I know a lot of witches do this also in bathtubs. It doesn't have to be your cauldron. It doesn't have to be a ton of water, just enough for herbs to float. Okay, because that's what we're going to be looking at, is the herbs. Now, as I put the herbs into my water, I like to either in my mind or even out loud do some kind of incantation or just verbally express what I want that herb to do for me as I'm putting it into the water, okay? So you kind of want it to be not whole chunks, but kind of little bits, because that's going to give you a better image. Because what you're going to be looking for are like images or maybe letters that are formed, something that's going to give you a clear message, okay? So with this Gill Over the Hill or ground ivy, I am asking for how I can gain a new perspective on my current situation. Lavender in. With this lavender, I am asking to receive messages on how I can relax more and feel more at peace in my current situation. Now before I read, and right before I read, I always swirl it clockwise until I feel that the water is fully infused with the herbal magic and until I feel it's ready to read, just kind of like when I was done shuffling my tarot, okay? And I'm also putting more intention into this, okay? How can I feel more at ease? How can I gain more perspective? Okay, I saw a smiley face, suggesting that I smile more. I'm definitely seeing clumps, like socializing, so I probably do need to get out of my house more and talk to more people. I see an S, which probably has something to do with sex appeal, to be honest. And V, which I just got visualize, okay? So I haven't been feeling the best about myself lately, so sex appeal probably having to do with trying to find that sex appeal again, getting more confidence, okay? Gathering in small groups, nothing big because of COVID and everything. So probably just like a close family member or a close friend and talking to them and getting some things off my chest. V, visualize, so visualize good things about the future, how fun it's going to be to meet our new little one, because I'm so excited, I am, but also keeping my foot on the ground, right? Not getting too worked up about it, okay? Sorry, there's my neighbor. My neighbor loves to rev their engine because they think it's cool. Like I said too, I also had seen a smiley face, which I actually was just thinking the other day that I probably should just physically smile more, because when you physically smile more, you actually trick your mind into thinking that you're happy and that you're content, rather, okay? So that makes sense. I do not only just look for just symbols, I also listen for clairaudient messages. I listen for when I see something, I listen for the first thing that pops into my mind. So when I saw that V, I was like, that looks like a V. I immediately heard visualize in my brain, okay? That S, I immediately heard sex appeal in my mind, okay? I saw the smiley face, like, oh, I was just thinking the other day, like, I need to smile more, like. So it's not just looking for the symbols, it's also using your intuition, okay? Using your third eye, using what I call your third ear and listening for messages, okay? And also just kind of using your brain too. Like, what could that letter stand for? What could that smiley face mean, right? So yeah, don't overthink it too much. Just be patient, listen. Whatever pops into your brain first is usually what it is, okay? So what I'll do with this now, guys, is to kind of thank Spirit and thank the elements. I will actually dump this with the herbs back into the earth, okay? So to me, this is giving back to Spirit. This is kind of giving back to the earth. I kind of look at it as an offering too, even though I'm giving it back. It's still an offering that I'm giving, right? It's a sign of thanks, okay? So I don't just dump this down the toilet or something. I always go outside and pour it into the earth, okay? And then I just leave this to dry on my altar, my cauldron. And that's it, guys. So let me know down below if you do water scrying with herbs, if you've ever done this before. I know some witches do water scrying with candle wax. I really want to try that some more. I think that would be really cool. Or even like, I know some witches do like their loose tea leaves in their tea. There's all kinds of different forms of scrying out there. Let me know what kinds of scrying you do. I think scrying is so cool. It's so witchy. It's so badass. I think it's so neat. And keep letting me know too, different things you guys like to see here on this channel, because I love it when I get suggestions. it not only gives me ideas of what to do, but I just like doing what you guys like to see. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, I'll do whatever I want on my channel, but it's always fun to give you guys what you want to. So don't hesitate to let me know what else you would like to see. And that's really all I have for you guys today. So until next time, guys, I hope you stay very well. Thank you. Bye.